For this reflection, I am first going to discuss my video slideshow, looking at the process of creating it and evaluating both the good and the bad. The first step was to identify what I was going to do the story about. Luckily enough, I stumbled across Manchester Open Exhibition while going to home for the cinema. I had an immediate sense that it would make for a good story, as it was time relevant and would appeal to a good amount of people, as it wasn't controversial and it was bipartisan. Before I was to photograph the exhibition though, I wanted to research and experience it, so that's what I did. I searched online for what I could find on the exhibition and made notes on what I deemed to be key pieces of information with a focus on statistics and dates. I did this as I felt it would make it much easier when it came to writing for the video slideshow, providing me with a skeleton I would simply have to flesh out. I gained most of what I needed to know from the home website. Naturally, they had written in length about the exhibition they were hosting. I was happy to find out the exhibition was for works of Mancunian people, as this added another element to the story. When I found out the exhibition was free to enter, I was even more convinced that it would be a good choice for the assignment, as the subject was accessible to all willing to travel. I swiftly booked a ticket to visit the gallery myself the next day in order to scope it out. I wanted to know what I was walking into before I bought my camera there. I also just wanted to experience the art without it being work. I felt it would lend itself to a truer representation when portraying the exhibition. I had prior experience with a DSLR camera from doing photography A-levels and have my own Canon 1100D. The plan was originally to use this to photograph the gallery, but after going around, I felt this would be inappropriate as it was quite an intimate space, and because it was full of original artwork, I would feel as if I was doing something wrong, even if not technically illegal in this case. I opted instead to use my phone camera. I knew I would be able to get the pictures I needed on it and would be able to make them look as clean as the ones I would have gotten on the DSLR during post. I arrived at the gallery armed with my phone around 2 PM on a Thursday. I felt it would be quiet enough to ensure I was not in people's faces, distracting them from the exhibition, but there would still be a few fair people scattered around that could help me set the scenes with my photos. This turned out to be true. I went around the gallery taking photos, ensuring to take my time as I didn't want to run through the exhibition and realise I hadn't got enough photos or good enough ones and had to go back. Once I had gone around the exhibition, I decided to take some photos of the outside of the building and the exhibition leaflet, as I felt it would help me with scene setting during the video slideshow. I knew I needed 6 original photographs, so I made sure to snap triple this amount. Once I had the photos, I sat outside and began to pick out my favourites, removing ones that were too busy, were poor angles, or ones that had my thumb in them, and began to edit them and make sure they were more vibrant and engaging. Once I had my 6 edited images, now it was a case of ordering them. I decided to start outside the venue and make my way inside and around the exhibition with the sequencing of the photos, as I felt this gave a true representation of what it would be like for the viewer to experience the exhibition. I then wrote captions for each photo, always considering where I wanted to land by the end of it. I wanted it to be almost a promotional piece for the exhibition and felt it needed to end with a question, the question obviously being, will you be visiting the gallery? It was then time to take it to Premiere Pro. I have used the software before, so it wasn't too much of an issue. I got some royalty-free music from YouTube for the slideshow and began piecing it all together. I could have maybe had more movement in my slideshow, but I personally preferred the stationary photos, especially when the viewer has to read the text that's above them. I felt the movement could be a bit distracting. Now for the interview, I had 2 people cancel on me for various reasons, so I was struggling for a while before deciding what I was going to do. In the end, I decided to interview my auntie about Paddy's Day. Like the exhibition, it was relevant and I felt like it would be easy to get a good conversation about that topic, as I knew she was passionate about it. I rented out a Zoom H2N microphone to get a professional sounding audio and set up a meeting with my auntie at my nana's house. I knew the same would be quiet and comfortable, a perfect recipe for a successful interview. I then went about writing and recording my introduction for the interview. I wanted this to be in place prior to the interview for peace of mind and to let my auntie know what it was going to sound like before she answered any questions. I then conducted the interview, making sure I had checked the levels and played the audio back once completed to make sure I didn't have to redo it. It was all good. I had around 4 minutes to play with, and I knew that would be more than enough for 2 minutes and 30 seconds including my intro. It was time to move the audio to Adobe Audition. I was unfamiliar with this software prior to being introduced to it for the course, so I wasn't overly comfortable on it. I referred to the basic guide that was given to us during the seminar that focused on its use. I normalised the audio, took out peaks and needless noises and pauses. Then I cut down the interview so that it would leave us at 2 minutes 30 when sequenced after the intro. Once this was done, it was just a case of uploading it to SoundCloud. This was nothing new and easy enough. I think overall the interview went well, and I share that same sentiment with the video slideshow as well.